radio's been cutting out all morning. Static mostly, that crackle you get when the towers can't push signal through a dust storm. I'm watching the sky turn that particular shade of brown. That means I'll be cleaning grit out of my truck's air filter for the next week. Mason Ruiz, 12 years with Border Patrol, Sector 7, and I still hate working dust storm days. Should have called in sick. My daughter Lupita's got her quinceañera dress fitting this afternoon at Delia's boutique on Copper Street, and I promised I'd be there by 3. Her mom, my ex Veronica, she's already got the "you never show up" speech loaded and ready. I'm parked at mile marker 47 on Route 85, where the highway cuts through nothing but creosote and cholla for 40 miles. My partner Rodriguez called in with kidney stones this morning. Probably those energy drinks he downs, I keep telling him, so it's just me out here. Standard patrol. Watching for crossers, mostly. Though in this weather, nobody's stupid enough to be out here. Temperatures hitting 106 according to my dashboard Ford's thermometer. And that dust is rolling in from the west like something alive. The radio crackles. 7. This is dispatch. Copy? I grabbed the handset. Copy, dispatch. Ruiz here. Mason, we've got a federal convoy passing through your sector. Military transport. 3 vehicles. They're not stopping for checkpoint, just rolling through on priority clearance. I write it down in my log, 1:23 p.m. Federal convoy, military. Copy that. What's the cargo? Static. Then, detainee transfer. That's all they told us. You see them, you let them pass. Don't engage. Understood. I hate when they do this. Federal boys come through, don't tell us shit. Expect us to just wave and smile. Last time it was ICE doing some kind of witness protection thing. Time before that, DEA transporting a cartel guy. My job's supposed to be securing the border, but half the time I'm just watching federal convoys I'm not allowed to ask questions about. I see the dust cloud before I see the vehicles. Coming from the north, moving fast, too fast for this road in this weather. 3 Humvees in formation, the kind with the reinforced plating you see in combat zones. Not standard transport. The lead vehicles got those mesh screens over the windows. Prisoner transport configuration. They blow past me doing maybe 70. I catch a glimpse of the driver in the lead vehicle, young guy, maybe 25, and he's got that 1,000-yard stare. The second Humvee's got 2 soldiers in front, and I can see through the mesh there's something in back. Movement. The third vehicle's riding rear security. That's when I notice the second Humvee's got a crack in its windshield. Big spiderweb pattern, like something hit it from inside. They disappear into the dust storm heading south. I write down the time, 1:31 p.m., and go back to watching nothing happen. Lupita's fitting is at 3. I'll make it, probably, if this dust clears and I can actually see to drive the 40 miles back to Ajo. My phone buzzes. Text from Veronica. You're going to be late, aren't you? Not a question. A statement. I text back. I'll be there. The radio crackles again. Different voice this time. Panicked. Anyone copy? This is... Static drowns it out. Convoy under... More static. Then... Containment breach. Mile marker. I grab the handset. This is Ruiz, Sector 7. Say again, you're breaking up. Nothing but static. Then a sound that might be screaming, or might be the wind, or might be something else entirely. The radio goes dead. Not static dead. Dead. Like someone pulled the plug on the whole system. I try my cell. No signal. That happens sometimes out here, but the timing makes my stomach tight. Those Humvees were moving south. Mile markers count down going south. If they had trouble, it'd be somewhere between here and the checkpoint at mile marker 12. I should wait for dispatch to come back online. That's protocol. But that voice on the radio, that wasn't standard distress. That was terror. I start my truck. The dust storm's getting worse, visibility dropping to maybe 50 feet. I flip on my light bar and head south on 85, watching the odometer count down the miles. 46, 45, 44. Lupita's fitting is at 3. It's 1:47 now. I've got time. Just check on the convoy, make sure they're okay, then head back north to Ajo. At mile marker 38, I see the smoke, not dust. Smoke, black and oily, rising into that brown sky like something burning wrong. Rubber and chemicals and something else I can't identify. The smell hits me even through my closed windows and air conditioning. I slow down. The smoke's coming from off-road, maybe a quarter-mile east into the desert. I can see the tire tracks where something heavy left the highway. Deep gouges in the shoulder where they tried to brake. This is where I should call it in. But my radio's still dead and my cell's got no signal and that smoke smells wrong. I pull off the highway, following the tracks. My Ford bounces over creosote bushes and rocks, suspension complaining. The smoke gets thicker, and then I see it. The lead Humvee is on its side, passenger compartment crushed against a boulder. The second Humvee made it another 100 yards before it flipped, roof down, wheels up, and there's something leaking from underneath that's not oil. Too red. The third Humvee's just gone. I can see where it kept going east, tracks disappearing into a dry wash. I stop my truck 50 feet back. Training kicks in, assess, don't approach until you know it's safe. But that smell, Jesus, that smell. I grab my mag light and my Glock, check the magazine even though I know it's loaded because I'm not stupid. The dust storm's howling now, visibility down to maybe 30 feet. I approach the overturned Humvee. The back doors are open, not damaged open, open, like someone opened them from inside. There's blood on the ground, a lot of it, but no bodies. Drag marks leading away into the dust, heading southwest. Multiple sets. Some of them are boot prints, standard military issue. Others are barefoot, and some of them don't look like feet at all. I'm breathing hard now, and it's not the heat. The blood's fresh, still wet. This happened maybe 20 minutes ago, right after they passed me. I check the driver's compartment. The young soldier with the 1,000-yard stare is still in his seat, held in by his harness. His neck's at the wrong angle, dead, but his eyes are open, and I swear to God they're looking at me. I reach in to check for a pulse anyway because that's what you do, and his skin's cold. Too cold for this heat. And there's something wrong with the veins in his neck. They're dark, almost black, visible through his skin like ink spreading through water. A sound behind me. I spin, Glock up, light cutting through the dust. Nothing. Just the wind and the creosote and my own breathing too loud in my ears. I check the first Humvee. The mesh screens over the passenger compartment are bent outward. Not inward like from impact. Outward. Like something inside pushed them out with enough force to bend reinforced steel. There's a clipboard on the ground, pages flapping in the wind. I grab it. The top sheet's a transport manifest. Federal Medical Containment Protocol. Detainee names listed, 8 of them. None of the names mean anything to me. But at the bottom, stamped in red, Vaccine Host Transfer, Site 7TO Site 12. Authorized personnel only. Containment Failure Protocol Alpha. Vaccine Host. What the fuck is a vaccine host? My radio crackles. Just once. A voice I don't recognize. If you can hear this, don't let them. Static. Then, burning the whole sector. The radio dies again. I look at the blood, the drag marks, the bent steel, that soldier's black veins. Lupita's fitting is at 3. It's 2:0 for now. 43 miles back to Ajo, and this dust storm's not clearing. I should leave. Call this in when I get back to signal range. Let the federal boys handle their own mess. But those drag marks are heading southwest, toward the old mining camp at Crater Wells. Abandoned since the 80s, but there's a cistern there. Water. And if there's people hurt out here, detainees or soldiers or whoever, they'll die in this heat without water. I grab the manifest and head back to my truck. I'm not stupid. I'll drive to Crater Wells, see if anyone made it that far, then get the hell back to civilization. 20 minutes. 30 tops. I'll still make Lupita's fitting. The lie tastes like dust in my mouth. The road to Crater Wells isn't a road anymore. Hasn't been since the copper played out in '84. Just a trace between the creosote, marked by cairns some prospector stacked when Carter was president. My truck's GPS shows it as blank desert, but I've been out here enough times chasing crossers to know the way. The drag marks parallel the old trace, multiple sets, all heading the same direction. Visibility's down to 20 feet. I'm following my own headlight beams through brown air, and every 50 yards I stop to check I haven't lost the trace. The manifest's on my passenger seat. I keep looking at it. Vaccine host transfer. 8 names. No information about what that means. Just the red stamp. Containment failure protocol alpha. My phone buzzes. Signal flicker. Just enough for texts to come through. 3 from Veronica. Where are you? Lupita's asking for you. I knew you'd do this. Then 1 from Lupita herself. Dad, please come. I text back. Emergency on patrol. There soon. Send fails. Trying to send. Trying to send. Failed. The drag marks are getting stranger. The boot prints are there, but they're uneven now, like whoever's walking is limping or staggering. And those other marks, the ones that aren't quite feet, they're deeper, heavier. Like whatever made them is putting more weight down with each step. At 2:31, I see the first body. He's 50 feet off the trace, face down in the dirt. Military uniform, no insignia visible. I stop the truck, grab my medical kit, basic stuff, bandages and quick clot and a tourniquet, and approach. The dust storm's screaming now, and I've got my bandana up over my mouth and nose because breathing is like inhaling sandpaper. I roll him over. It's one of the soldiers from the convoy, not the driver, someone else. Younger, maybe 22. His eyes are open, but he's not seeing anything. There's blood caked around his mouth and nose, and when I check his neck for a pulse, his skin's got that same cold feeling. Wrong cold. Desert at midnight cold. Not desert at 2 p.m. cold. He's been dead maybe 30 minutes, but his veins, Jesus Christ, his veins. They're black. All of them. Visible through his skin like someone injected him with India ink. And they're moving. I watch them pulse just once and then stop. I'm backing away when I see his fingers twitch. Not a death twitch. Not nerves firing. A deliberate movement. His hand closes into a fist, opens, closes again. His chest doesn't move, no breathing, but his hand is moving. I'm on my feet, backing toward my truck, when his head turns. Slow. Mechanical. His eyes find me, and they're not human eyes anymore. The whites are gone, replaced by that same black spreading through the veins. Pupils blown wide. He opens his mouth and something comes out that might be a word or might be air escaping or might be something else entirely. I'm in my truck with the doors locked before my brain catches up to my body. The soldier, the thing that was a soldier, sits up. Joints moving wrong, like something's puppeting the body from inside. It stands, faces my truck, takes a step forward. I hit the gas. In my mirror, I see it watching me until the dust swallows it. My hands are shaking on the wheel. That's impossible. Dead people don't move. Dead people don't stand up and track movement with their eyes. I've seen bodies before, car accidents, desert deaths, even a shootout once, and dead is dead. This is something else. The manifest. Vaccine host transfer. Containment failure protocol. What the fuck were they transporting? The trace keeps going southwest. The drag marks continue. I should turn around. This is beyond my training, beyond my jurisdiction, beyond anything that makes sense. But if there's survivors heading for Crater Wells, they're heading into the desert with things that were dead but aren't anymore. At 2:47, I see the second body. Then the third. Both in military uniform, both with the black veins, both starting to move as I drive past, that same slow mechanical sitting up. The radio crackles. Mason Ruiz, Sector 7, if you... It's dispatch breaking through. Emergency lockdown. Do not approach. I grab the handset. Dispatch, this is Ruiz. I've got multiple casualties at... Static drowns me out. I try again. Dispatch, I need backup at Crater Wells. Federal convoy crash. Casualties are... What? Reanimating? Coming back wrong? Need immediate medical and hazmat response. Get out of there. The voice is different. Not my dispatcher. Someone else, someone with authority. Contamination zone. Burning the sector at. The radio dies completely. Not static. Silence. Burning the sector. What does that mean? Crater Wells appears through the dust at 2:53. The old mining camp is just ruins now. Collapsed buildings, rusted equipment, and that cistern I'm praying still has water. 3 structures still have partial roofs. The old assay office, the equipment shed, and what used to be the superintendent's house. There's a Humvee parked in front of the assay office. The 3rd vehicle from the convoy. Still running, engine idling, doors open. I park 20 feet back and kill my engine. The dust storm's starting to ease. Visibility up to maybe 40 feet now. I can hear the Humvee's engine, the wind, and something else. A rhythmic sound, like breathing, coming from inside the assay office. I check my Glock again. 15 rounds. I've been with Border Patrol 12 years, and I've never fired my weapon in the line of duty. That's supposed to be something to be proud of. Federal agents. I call out. My voice sounds wrong in the dust. This is Border Patrol. Anyone need assistance? The wet breathing stops. Then a voice from inside the building. Don't come in here. Male. Young. Scared. Please, if you're hearing this, don't come in here. I approach the doorway slowly. Maglite in my left hand. Glock in my right. I'm Border Patrol Officer Ruiz. There's been an accident. I'm here to help. You can't help. The voice cracks. Nobody can help. They told us it was stable. They told us the hosts were secured. But Johnson opened the rear compartment to check vitals and a sound that might be laughing or crying. It's airborne, or contact transmission, or something. Harper started showing symptoms 15 minutes after exposure. Then Kowalski. Then, I'm in the doorway now. The assay office is dark. Just my flashlight beam cutting through the dust floating in from outside. There's a soldier sitting against the far wall. Late 20s, Hispanic, name tape says Delgado. He's got his pistol pointed at me, but his hands shaking too hard to aim properly. Easy, I say. I'm not here to hurt anyone. You're not hearing me. His voice is steadier now. Cold. They're not dead. The hosts. They were dead. 8 subjects terminated 2 days ago. Total cellular death confirmed, but they're not dead anymore. Something in the vaccine, some kind of prion or retrovirus, or they don't know what, it kept replicating. And now it's spreading. My light finds the other soldier. She's on the floor in the corner on her side, curled up. Her name tape says Bishop. Her skin's got that wrong cold look, and her veins are starting to show black at her temples and throat. But she's breathing. Quick, shallow breaths. How long ago did she get exposed? 20 minutes. Symptoms started at 15. The conversion takes, he checks his watch, 30 minutes, maybe 40. Full systemic transformation, cardiac death, then reanimation. We're supposed to neutralize them immediately, but she's His voice breaks. We've been stationed together for 3 years. I'm doing the math in my head. The convoy passed me at 1:31. The crash happened around 1:40 based on how fresh that blood was. If exposure happened right after the crash, and the first soldier I saw was dead, and Bishop's been exposed for 20 minutes, where are the others? The detainees? The hosts? Delgado laughs, and it's not a good sound. Dead. Again. We neutralized 5 at the crash site. The other 3 got into the dust storm. Could be anywhere in a 5-mile radius by now. He wipes his face with his free hand, and I see his fingers are trembling. Commands implementing Protocol Alpha. Tactical burn of the entire sector. They're loading incendiaries right now. 2 hours, maybe less. Burning. My throat's tight. How big a sector? 40-mile radius from the crash site. He meets my eyes. Everything in the contamination zone. Buildings, vehicles, people. They can't risk this getting out. 40-mile radius. Ajo's 38 miles from here. Population 800. My daughter Lupita's there right now, at Delia's boutique on Copper Street, trying on her quinceañera dress. Get on your radio, I say. My voice sounds far away. Tell them there's a civilian town in the burn radius. They need to evacuate. Radio's dead. Has been since the crash. Some kind of jamming protocol. They don't want us calling out. Don't want anyone knowing what we were transporting. He gestures at Bishop with his pistol. When she turns, I'm supposed to neutralize her. Then myself. That's the protocol. No evidence. Bishop's breathing is getting slower. I watch her chest rise and fall, and there's something wrong with the rhythm. It stutters. Stops. Starts again. There has to be another way, I say. We get her to a hospital. Find out what this is. It's not a disease. Delgado's voice is flat now. Dead. It's something else. Something they created trying to make a universal vaccine platform. They killed 8 volunteers in the first trials, stored the bodies for research, and then the bodies stopped being dead. Started showing cellular activity, neural firing, motor function. They were supposed to be contained. He laughs again, bitter. Supposed to be. Bishop's chest stops moving. Just stops. I watch it for 10 seconds. 15. Delgado, I say softly. He's watching her too. I know. We wait. The dust storm's clearing outside. I can see sunlight starting to break through. That particular desert gold that means it's mid-afternoon. 3:08 p.m. according to my watch. Lupita's fitting started 8 minutes ago. Bishop's eyes open. They're black. All black. The white's gone, replaced by that spreading darkness. She sits up, smooth and mechanical, head turning to track us. Her mouth opens and that wet breathing sound comes out, rhythmic like lungs filling and emptying but not for air. Delgado's pistol is pointed at her head. His hand's not shaking anymore. I'm sorry, Rachel, he says. She stands, takes a step toward us. I grab Delgado's arm. Don't. Not yet. Maybe. There's no maybe. He pulls away from me, aims, and I see his finger tighten on the trigger. Bishop's head snaps toward the doorway, not looking at us anymore, looking past us. Something outside. I turn. There are 7 of them standing in the clearing. The 3 missing detainees, still in their orange jumpsuits, and 4 soldiers, all with black eyes, all standing too still, heads cocked like they're listening to something we can't hear. Oh fuck, Delgado whispers. They start walking toward the building. Not running. Walking. That same mechanical pace I saw earlier. Bishop turns from us and walks to join them, and Delgado just watches her go, pistol lowering. We need to move, I say. Now. But Delgado's looking at his watch. Protocol Alpha initiates at 1,700 hours. It's 15:09 now. Even if we run, we won't make it out of the burn radius before. He looks at me and I see the resignation in his eyes. There's no way out. I think about Lupita, her dress fitting, Veronica's texts. You're going to be late, aren't you? I grab the manifest off his belt where it's clipped. There has to be someone we can contact. Someone who can stop this. They won't stop it. Delgado stands, moves to the window. The transformed are surrounding the building now. 10 of them, 12, more emerging from the dust. This is their solution. Burn it all and blame the dust storm. No questions. My phone buzzes. 1 bar of signal. A text from Lupita gets through. Where are you, sad face? I text back. Coming. I love you. Send fails. Trying to send. The transformed are at the door. Delgado's at the window with his pistol up, watching 12 of them stand in a loose circle around the building. They're not attacking, just standing there, heads tilted, that wet breathing sound coming from all of them at once, creating a rhythm like a heartbeat. One of them is Bishop. I can tell by her uniform, her build, but she's not looking at the building anymore. She's looking south, toward Ajo. They're not acting like the ones at the crash site, Delgado says. He's pulled back from the window, pressed against the wall. At the crash, they went for us immediately. Tried to grab Johnson, contaminate him. These ones are just waiting. I'm checking my phone again. Still 1 bar. The text to Lupita is still trying to send. I pull up my recent calls and try dispatch. It rings once, then cuts to static. I try Veronica. Same thing. Emergency services. Same thing. The jamming, I say. How far does it extend? I don't know. That's above my clearance. Delgado laughs, and there's something broken in it. I'm just the guy who drives the corpses around. They don't tell me how the technology works. I look at the manifest again. 8 names I don't recognize. Vaccine host transfer, Site 7 to Site 12. At the bottom, in smaller print, biocontainment level 4, authorized personnel only, failure to maintain protocol results in immediate alpha response. Site 7. I say, where's Site 7? You're standing in it. Delgado gestures around the assay office. This whole mining camp, they've been using it for medical testing since the 90s. Nobody comes out here, perfect isolation, easy to secure. The town doesn't even know. What town, Aho? My stomach's tight. Aho's 38 miles from here, closer to 32. He meets my eyes. Why do you think they picked a 40-mile burn radius? The transformed outside have started moving. Not toward us, toward each other. They're forming a tighter circle, and that wet breathing is synchronizing. All of them breathing in and out at the exact same time, like one organism with 12 bodies. What are they doing? Signaling. Delgado's voice is flat. That's what happened at the crash. They signaled and more came. The ones that got away, the ones we thought were just wandering, they're calling them. Building a... He stops. They're building a hive. I count them again. 15 now. 3 more emerged from the desert while we were talking. All in that circle, all breathing together. And in the center of the circle, they're doing something. Moving in unison, heads down, focused on the ground. Delgado. My voice sounds strange even to me. How many people were stationed at Site 7? He doesn't answer right away. When he does, his voice is quiet. 43. Research staff, security, support personnel. The facility's underground, about a mile east of here. They would have felt the crash. Probably went to investigate. And if any of them got exposed. 43. Plus the 8 hosts from the convoy. Plus the soldiers. That's 60, maybe 70 transformed wandering somewhere in this desert. All of them capable of spreading whatever this is through contact or airborne transmission or both. And in less than 2 hours, they're going to burn all of it. We need to get to that facility, I say. There has to be communication equipment there. Something that can reach outside the jamming. The facility's on lockdown. Nobody gets in or out during a contamination event. But Delgado's looking at me differently now. Not like I'm an idiot, like he's considering it. Unless you have override credentials. Do you? No. But Bishop did. She was second in command for security. He glances at the window, at the thing that used to be his partner. Her credentials are biometric. Retinal scan and fingerprint. I follow his thinking and don't like where it goes. We'd have to get close to her. Yeah. We both watch them through the window. The circle's tightening, and I can see now what they're doing in the center. They're building something, using rocks and debris from the old mining camp, stacking them in patterns that hurt to look at. Not random, geometric, deliberate. My phone buzzes. Half a bar. A text from Veronica gets through. She's crying. Where the hell are you? I type back. Tell her I love her. Tell her I'm sorry. This time it sends. Immediately, 3 dots appear. Veronica's typing. Then, what's wrong? Mason, what's happening? I don't answer. I pocket the phone and turn to Delgado. If we get to the facility, can you stop Protocol Alpha? Maybe. If the research director is still alive, if she hasn't turned, if her override codes still work, maybe. He's quiet for a moment. But even if we stop the burn, this is out. 8 detainees plus 43 staff plus God knows how many more by now. How do we contain that? Not my problem. My voice is harder than I intend. My problem is my daughter's quinceañera fitting is happening right now 32 miles from here, and in 90 minutes someone's going to drop incendiaries on her because of something I've got no part in. So we're getting to that facility and we're making a call and we're getting Ajo evacuated. Everything else comes after. Delgado studies me. You really think they'll evacuate? Some border patrol officer tells them there's zombie soldiers in the desert and they need to clear out a whole town. I don't know, but I'm going to try. I check my Glock. 15 rounds. How many shots does it take to stop one of them? Headshots only. Complete cranial destruction. Anything else and they keep coming. He shows me his pistol. I've got 30 rounds left. You've got 15. There's 23 of them out there now and more coming. The math doesn't work. Then we don't fight them. I'm watching the circle, watching that construction in the center. We go around. My truck's still got gas. We drive to the facility, get inside, make the call. They'll follow us. Let them. As long as we get there first. Delgado considers this. Through the window, more transformed are emerging from the desert. I count 30 now. 32. The wet breathing is getting louder, and that construction in the center is taking shape. A cairn maybe 6 feet tall, built from rocks and metal scraps and things I can't identify in the fading dust. Okay, Delgado says finally. Okay, but if I start showing symptoms, if my veins start going black or my temperature drops or I lose motor control, you put a round in my head. Promise me. I look at him, 28 years old, maybe. Hispanic kid from somewhere that's not here, wearing a uniform that says he was supposed to be protecting people, not transporting walking corpses. He's terrified, but he's still thinking, still planning, still trying to fix this. I promise, I say. He nods, checks his watch. 1,532 hours. We've got 93 minutes until Protocol Alpha. Facilities a mile east. 5 minutes in your truck if the terrain cooperates. Another 5 to get inside if Bishop's credentials still work. That leaves 83 minutes to find the research director, access the communication system, and convince someone in authority that this is real and they need to evacuate. And if nobody's alive at the facility, then we tried. He looks at me. That's all we can do. Try. My phone buzzes. Veronica again. Mason, please answer me. You're scaring Lupita. I text back. Get her out of Ajo. Right now. Don't wait. Go north toward Phoenix. Drive until you're at least 50 miles away. Don't ask questions, just go. Send fails. Trying to send. Trying to send. 1 bar drops to no service. Shit. I pocket the phone. We need to move. We're at the door when I hear it. A new sound under that synchronized breathing. Voices. Not words, nothing that coherent, but vocal sounds. Humming. All 30-something transformed humming the same note. That wet breathing providing rhythm while the voices provide melody. It's the most horrible sound I've ever heard. They're singing, Delgado whispers. Oh, Jesus Christ, they're singing. The construction in the center of the circle is finished. The cairns may be 7 feet tall now, wider at the base, narrowing to a point. And at the top, they've placed something. I use my mag light to see it better through the dusty air. It's a skull. Human. Too clean to be from the crash. Too weathered to be fresh. They must have found it somewhere in the desert. Some lost prospector or crosser who died out here years ago. And they've placed it at the apex of their construction like a crown. The humming stops. All 34 of them turn to face the assay office. Turn to face us. Run, Delgado says. We run. My truck starts on the first try. Thank Christ for that, at least. And I'm already moving before Delgado's door is fully closed. The transformed don't chase us. They just watch, standing in their circle around that cairn with the skull, heads tracking our movement with mechanical precision. In my rearview mirror, I see them break formation, all of them moving southeast now, toward the facility. Not running, walking, but they know where we're going. The terrain east of Crater Wells is rougher, arroyos and rock formations that make straight line driving impossible. I'm navigating by the sun and Delgado's directions, my speedometer bouncing between 15 and 30 as we crash over creosote and dodge boulders. The GPS is still showing nothing but blank desert. There, Delgado points. A chain-link fence emerges from the landscape, 8 feet tall with razor wire on top. It extends north and south as far as I can see. Gates another quarter-mile north. Follow the fence. I follow it. The gate's got a guard shack empty and the barrier arm is down. Delgado jumps out, uses something from his pocket on the control panel, and the arm lifts. We're through. The facility entrance is just a concrete bunker rising from the desert floor, maybe 20 feet by 20, with a single steel door. No signs. Nothing that says secret medical research facility, except the total absence of anything saying what it actually is. We're out of the truck and at the door when I hear them. That wet breathing. Closer now. I turn and see them cresting the rise 100 yards back. 30, 40, 50 of them. More emerging from the desert. All walking toward us with that same mechanical pace. Delgado. I know. I see them. He's at the door panel, pulling Bishop's hand from his pocket. Her severed hand, still wearing her glove. I don't ask when he cut it off. He presses her fingers to the scanner. Nothing happens. He tries again. Come on, come on. The transformed are at 70 yards now. The retinal scan, I say. You need her eye too. I know, but I couldn't. He stops, pulls something else from his pocket. I don't look at it. Can't look at it. He holds it up to the scanner, and this time something beeps. The door hisses open. We're inside and the door's sealed behind us before the transformed reach 50 yards. The bunker's just an elevator lobby, concrete walls, fluorescent lights, and a single elevator door. Delgado hits the button. We wait. Through the door's small window, I watch them arrive. They don't try to break in. They just stand there, breathing together, watching us with those black eyes. Waiting. The elevator arrives. We descend. How deep does this go? 4 levels. Research on 1 and 2, containment on 3, command and communications on 4. Delgado's watching the floor indicator. If anyone's alive, they'll be in the command center. It's designed as a safe room. 6-inch steel walls, independent air supply, enough rations for 30 days. The elevator stops at level 4. The doors open onto a corridor lit by red emergency lights. The walls are concrete, the floor is that industrial tile that's supposed to be easy to clean. There's blood on it. A lot of blood. Drag marks leading deeper into the facility. Stay close, Delgado says. His pistol's up, moving with his eyes as he clears corners. Military training showing through. We pass offices, break rooms, storage areas. All empty. The blood trail continues, and I notice the drag marks are the same as what I saw in the desert, boot prints mixed with those other marks, the ones that aren't quite feet. Some of the blood's dried. Some isn't. They're down here, I say. The transformed. They made it inside. The facility was already contaminated before we even crashed. Delgado's voice is tight. The hosts we were transporting, they were stored here. If they showed any activity before we moved them, if anyone got exposed during the loading process, we reached the command center. The door's that 6-inch steel Delgado mentioned, and it's sealed shut. There's a panel next to it with a keypad and another biometric scanner. Delgado tries Bishop's credentials again. Access denied. Shit. He tries again. Same result. Her clearance isn't high enough. We need the research director's access. Where's the research director? If she's alive? In there. He gestures at the sealed door. If she's not. He doesn't finish. I'm looking at the blood trail. It leads past the command center, deeper into level 4. Toward what a sign on the wall says is cold storage. What's in cold storage? The other hosts. The ones we didn't transport today. 17 of them, last I heard. Delgado's watching me. You're not thinking. They kept them in cold storage because they were showing activity. Neural firing, you said. Motor function. I'm following the blood trail with my mag light. That means they were in some kind of containment. Monitored. There would be staff down here. Maybe one of them is the research director. Or maybe they're all transformed and we're walking into exactly what killed everyone else. You have a better idea? He doesn't. We follow the blood trail. The corridor angles down, temperature dropping as we go deeper. My breath starts fogging. The emergency lights are fewer down here, pools of darkness between them. The blood is darker too, older. Cold storage is stenciled on a door at the end of the corridor. It's not sealed. It's open. Just a crack, but open. That wet breathing sound is coming from inside. Rhythmic. Multiple sources. How many, I can't tell. Delgado positions himself at the door, pistol ready. He looks at me. I nod. He pulls the door open. The room is maybe 40 feet by 60, lined with what look like morgue drawers, refrigerated compartments built into the walls. Most of them are open, empty, but 5 are closed, and those 5 have observation windows. There are faces in the windows, pressed against the glass, black eyes staring out, watching us, and in the center of the room, there's a woman. 60, maybe, white coat stained with blood, gray hair pulled back in a bun that's mostly come undone. She's sitting on the floor with her back against one of the morgue units, and her veins are starting to show black at her temples. She's got a tablet in her lap and a pistol in her hand, pointed at her own head. Dr. Ortega? Delgado's voice is careful. Dr. Imani Ortega? The woman's eyes focus on us. Still human. Still her. You shouldn't have come down here. The contamination's systemic. Everyone on levels 1 through 3 showed symptoms within 40 minutes of initial exposure. I've been trying to contain it, but she coughs, and there's blood on her lips. How long do I have? Delgado checks his watch. Based on onset time, maybe 20 minutes before you turn. Then I don't have time to explain everything. She holds up the tablet. This has all the research. Everything we learned about the prion, the transmission vectors, the reanimation process. You need to get this to CDC. They need to know what they're dealing with. Protocol Alpha initiates in. Delgado checks his watch again. 78 minutes. They're burning the whole sector. I know. I authorized it. Her voice is bitter. Not my first choice, but when you create something that can spread through contact and air and possibly water, and you lose containment, you don't have many options. The burn will sterilize everything within the radius. It's the only way to be sure. My phone's in my hand before I realize I'm reaching for it. No signal. I turn to Delgado. The communication system. Can you access it from here? Not from here. The command center has the only long-range transmitter. He looks at Dr. Ortega. We need your access codes. She laughs, and it's a wet sound. You want to stop the burn. There's a town 32 miles from here, I say. 800 people. My daughter's there right now. If you burn the sector, you're killing all of them. Dr. Ortega looks at me, and there's something in her eyes, recognition maybe, sympathy. I know about Ajo. I drove through it every day for 6 years. Nice little town. Good people. She coughs again. More blood. And if this gets out, if it reaches Ajo or any other population center, we're talking about an extinction-level event. The prion doesn't just reanimate the dead. It spreads through the living, converting them faster with each generation. Exponential growth. We ran the models. If it reaches a city, we lose the continent in 6 weeks. Then we evacuate Ajo, I say. We get them out, establish a perimeter, contain this properly instead of just burning everything and hoping. And how do you explain to 800 people why they need to evacuate immediately? How do you keep them calm, keep them from panicking, keep them from spreading news of a reanimation virus to social media and the press? How do you prevent someone who's infected but not symptomatic from leaving the containment zone? She shakes her head. We've been through this. Every scenario. The only one that works is the burn. Quick. Total. I'm looking at her. That includes the witnesses standing in front of you right now. She doesn't deny it. Protocol Alpha doesn't just sterilize the contamination zone. It eliminates all exposure vectors. That includes anyone who made contact with the infected. That includes you, and me, and everyone in this facility who's still alive. Delgado's gone very still. You're saying they're going to burn us too, even if we get out of the sector. You were exposed. You're contaminated. Even if you're not symptomatic, you could be carrying it. The only ethical choice is... She stops, tilts her head. Do you hear that? I hear it. That wet breathing. But it's closer now. Coming from the corridor outside. Multiple sources. Getting closer. They followed us, Delgado says. They got inside. Dr. Ortega's pistol swings from her own head to the doorway, her hands shaking. How many? 50 at the entrance when we came in. I move to the door, look out into the corridor. The emergency lights are going out one by one, darkness spreading toward us. And in that darkness, I see movement. Eyes, black eyes, dozens of them. More now. Then this is it. Dr. Ortega's voice is calm. Too calm. The black veins are spreading faster, visible now at her throat and wrists. I'm going to turn in the next few minutes. When I do, you need to neutralize me immediately. Then you need to make a choice. What choice? You can try to get to the command center, use my codes to stop the burn, and hope you can somehow evacuate 800 people and contain an extinction-level pathogen with no training and no support. She looks at me. Or you can accept that some things can't be fixed. That sometimes the only way to save the many is to sacrifice the few. That your daughter's death is tragic, but it's better than the alternative. I think about Lupita, her quinceañera dress, the text that never sent. You're asking me to let her die. I'm asking you to let her die quickly and cleanly instead of letting her turn into one of those things. Dr. Ortega gestures at the faces in the morgue drawers. Because if this gets out, that's what happens. To her. To everyone. And then their bodies walk around spreading it to everyone else until there's nothing human left on this continent. The transformed are in the corridor now. I can see them in what's left of the emergency lights, 2030, moving toward us with that mechanical precision. Delgado's beside me, pistol up, but he's not shooting. We don't have enough rounds. Not even close. Your codes, Delgado says to Dr. Ortega. What are they? She tells him. He writes them on his hand with a pen from his pocket. Blood from somewhere, his or hers or someone else's, smears the numbers, but they're legible. The transformed are at 30 feet. Dr. Ortega's breathing is changing, getting wetter. The black veins are at her jawline now, spreading toward her eyes. Time's up, she says. You need to go. Get to the command center. Make your choice. Whatever you decide, do it fast. What about you? Ask. She raises the pistol to her temple. I'm making my choice. 20 feet. Delgado grabs my arm. We need to move. Now. I look at Dr. Ortega one last time. She's smiling, but it's a sad smile. Resigned. Tell them it wasn't supposed to happen like this, she says. Tell them we were trying to help people. Tell them. The shot is loud in the enclosed space. She slumps sideways, and there's blood and brain matter on the morgue unit behind her. The transformed in the corridor pause. All of them, like they felt it, like they're connected to everyone who's infected. And when one dies, they all know. Then they start moving again. Faster now. Delgado and I run. The corridor back to the command center is a straight shot, but the transformed are coming from multiple directions now, ahead of us, behind us, probably from the other levels too. We reach the command center door and Delgado punches in Dr. Ortega's codes with shaking fingers. Access granted. The door opens. We're through, and Delgado's sealing it behind us when I see them. 3 transformed, right behind us, hands reaching for the gap. The door closes on fingers. Black blood sprays. The door seals. The command center is everything Delgado promised. Steel walls, banks of monitors and communication equipment, supplies stacked in corners. And it's empty, just us. Delgado's at the communication console immediately, powering it up. This transmits on military frequencies. I can reach Northcom, get them to delay Protocol Alpha. I'm watching the door. Something's hitting it from outside. Over and over. That wet breathing is coming through the steel, muffled but audible. How long until they get through? That door's designed to hold against explosive charges. They won't get through. But he doesn't sound certain. The console's up. Delgado's got a headset on, transmitting. Northcom, this is Sergeant Luis Delgado, DoD Medical Security Detail. Serial number 8792-4551-9933. I'm transmitting from Site 7 Command Center. Protocol Alpha must be delayed. We have civilians in the burn radius who need evacuation. Please acknowledge. Static. Then, Sergeant Delgado, your unit was flagged as compromised at 1,547 hours. Protocol Alpha is in effect. Estimated time to ordnance deployment is 62 minutes. You are advised to shelter in place and await termination. Termination. Delgado's voice is hollow. You're going to kill us. You were exposed to a Class 5 biohazard. Standard containment protocol requires elimination of all exposure vectors. This includes exposed personnel. I grabbed the headset from Delgado. This is Border Patrol Officer Mason Ruiz. There's a civilian population at Ajo, 32 miles from Site 7. 800 people. You need to evacuate them before you burn this sector. A different voice on the line now. Older. Authority. Officer Ruiz, evacuation is not possible in the time remaining. The pathogen you were exposed to has a 97% transmission rate and an incubation period of 40 minutes or less. By the time we mobilized an evacuation, anyone infected in Ajo would already be symptomatic. We'd be spreading the contamination, not containing it. Then test them. Quarantine the town, test everyone, evacuate the clean ones. We don't have a test. Dr. Ortega's team never developed one that could detect the prion before symptom onset. And we don't have 40 minutes. Protocol Alpha initiates in 61 minutes. Those are the parameters we're working with. My hands are shaking. I'm gripping the headset too hard. My daughter is in that town. She's 13 years old. She's at her quinceañera dress fitting right now. She's not infected. She hasn't been exposed. You can't just burn her alive because it's convenient. I'm sorry, Officer Ruiz. And the terrible thing is, he sounds like he means it. But your daughter's life doesn't outweigh the risk of continental extinction. Those are the stakes. Those are the numbers. Protocol Alpha stands. I look at Delgado. He's watching me with those eyes that have seen too much in the last 3 hours. What do? We can't stop it, he says quietly. Even if we had the override codes, which we don't, those are above Ortega's clearance, we couldn't delay it long enough to evacuate Ajo. The logistics don't work. The time doesn't work. Nothing works. So we just what? We just let them die. We let 800 people die quick and clean, or we risk millions dying slow and wrong. He gestures at the door, where the pounding continues. You've seen what happens. You've seen what they become. Is that what you want for your daughter? I think about Lupita, her smile, her excitement about the dress, about the quinceañera she's been planning for 2 years. I think about Veronica's texts, about that last message I sent that never went through. And I think about those faces in the morgue drawer windows, those black eyes, that mechanical movement, that wet breathing that used to be human breath but isn't anymore. No, I say. No, I don't want that for her. Then you already made your choice. Delgado takes off his headset. We wait here. In 59 minutes, the incendiaries hit. The temperature in the blast radius goes to 2,000 degrees. Everything burns. The pathogen dies. The transformed die. And the world stays safe. I sit down on the floor, back against the steel wall. My phone's in my hand. No signal, but I pull up Lupita's contact anyway. Her picture from last year, big smile, missing tooth she lost at 11. I scroll through our texts. Dad, can you pick me up early? And I love you, Daddy. And when are you coming home? The last message I sent. Coming. I love you. It never went through. My watch says 1,621 hours. 54 minutes until Protocol Alpha. I should have been there, I say. At the fitting. I promised I'd be there. Delgado slides down the wall to sit next to me. I should have quit this job 2 years ago. Bishop kept telling me we were transporting something dangerous, that the security protocols were inadequate. I kept saying it was fine. It was a paycheck. It was serving my country. He laughs, bitter. Served them right into the ground. We sit there in silence. The pounding on the door continues. That wet breathing. Outside in the corridor, I can hear more of them gathering. How many now? Hundreds? Does it matter? My phone buzzes. Impossibly, there's signal. Just a flicker, but enough. A text comes through from Veronica. We're leaving. Lupita won't stop crying, but we're getting in the car. North toward Phoenix, like you said. What's happening, Mason? What's wrong? I stare at the message. They're leaving. They listened. They're driving north, away from Ajo, away from the burn radius. I do the math in my head. Ajo to Phoenix is 120 miles. Highway 85 north is clear this time of day. If they left now at 1621, driving 70 mph, they'd be 60 miles out by 1715. 60 miles. Outside the 40-mile radius. Outside the burn zone. Delgado. My voice sounds strange. Delgado, what if they're already gone? What if Ajo's already evacuating? He looks at me. The order was to shelter in place. They wouldn't evacuate without authorization. But what if they are? What if my text got through somehow? What if people are leaving right now? I'm on my feet at the communication console. We need to confirm. We need to know if there's anyone still in Ajo before the burn. How? We don't have surveillance, we don't have... He stops. Looks at the monitors. The facility has perimeter cameras. They're motion activated. If the transformed are moving toward Ajo instead of clustering here, we'd see them. He brings up the camera feeds. 8 different angles showing the desert around Site 7. And he's right, the transformed are moving. Not toward the facility anymore. Southeast. Toward Ajo. Hundreds of them now, all walking in that same mechanical formation. They're migrating, Delgado says, following the population center. They sense the concentration of... He switches cameras. Oh God, the feed shows Route 85, and there are cars on it. Lots of cars. Civilian vehicles heading north. Evacuating. My text got through. Veronica listened. And she must have told someone, and they told someone else, and now the whole town is leaving. But the transformed are between Site 7 and Route 85, and they're faster than I thought. Not running, but walking at maybe 5 mph. Steady. Tireless. And there are so many of them. How long until they reach the highway? Ask. Delgado's doing calculations on the monitor. 35 minutes. Maybe 40. And how long until Protocol Alpha? 52 minutes. The transformed will reach the evacuating civilians 12 minutes before the burn. 12 minutes of contact, of transmission, of spreading the contagion to 800 people fleeing north toward Phoenix, toward population centers, toward millions of people who don't know what's coming. I look at the communication console, at Delgado, at the door where something that used to be human is trying to get in so it can make us into more of itself. We have to stop them, I say. The transformed. We have to stop them from reaching the highway. With what? Delgado gestures at his pistol. 30 rounds? Against hundreds of them, the facility has weapons. Security armaments. You said there was security staff. On level 2, the armory. He's already shaking his head. But we'd have to go out there, into the corridor where they are. Then we go. I'm checking my Glock. 15 rounds. Not enough. Not even close. But it's what I have. We get to the armory, we get whatever weapons you have stored there, and we make a stand on Route 85. We hold them off long enough for the evacuation to clear the radius. That's suicide. Yeah. I meet his eyes. But it's our suicide. Our choice. Better than sitting here waiting to burn. Delgado's quiet for a long moment. Then he stands. Checks his pistol. The armory's got rifles. Shotguns. Maybe some explosives if we're lucky. If we can create a choke point on the highway, funnel them into a kill zone, we might be able to slow them down. Maybe even stop the front runners. How many do we need to stop? All of them. He pulls up the camera feed again. I count the transformed moving toward the highway. 200. Maybe more. We need to stop all of them from making contact with the civilians. One gets through, one touches someone, and we've failed. The math doesn't work. It never worked. But Lupita's on that highway right now, driving north with her mother, crying because her father broke another promise. And in 51 minutes, she's going to be outside the burn radius. Safe, unless something catches her first. Let's go, I say. We unseal the door. The armory's on level 2 like Delgado said. Getting there means going through 30 transformed clustered in the stairwell. We empty our pistols into their heads, they drop but more keep coming, and we're out of ammunition by the time we reach the armory door. Delgado uses Bishop's credentials one last time. The door opens. Inside, rifle racks, shotguns, ammunition, and something better, a crate labeled thermite grenades. Emergency use only. We load up. I've got an M4 rifle I barely know how to use and 6 thermite grenades. Delgado's got a shotgun and the rest of the grenades. We have 12 minutes to reach Route 85 before the transformed get there. We take my truck, drive it through the facility gate across the desert, pushing 70 on terrain that should be 40 max. The transformed see us coming and some of them change direction, following us instead of the highway. Good. Everyone that follows us is one that won't reach the civilians. We beat them to the highway by 3 minutes. Set up our position at mile marker 23, where the road cuts through a narrow pass between rock formations. Natural choke point. Delgado spaces the thermite grenades across the road. We'll trigger them when the transformed are clustered tight. Burn as many as we can. The evacuating cars are still coming. I wave them through. A woman in a Honda asks if there's an accident ahead. I tell her to keep driving north, don't stop. She goes. More cars. An old man in a pickup. A family in a minivan. Kids in the back seat. Scared but alive. Then I see them. Veronica's Corolla. She's driving and Lupita's in the passenger seat, still in her regular clothes because they never made it to the dress fitting. They're 3 cars back. I step into the road, flag them down. Veronica stops, window down, and she's already yelling before I can speak. Mason, what the hell is happening? Why did you tell us to leave? Is this drug cartel? Is this? Drive north, I say. Don't stop until you're past Phoenix. Don't look back. Don't answer questions. Just drive. Lupita's looking at me through the windshield. Her eyes are red from crying. She mouths, "Daddy." I want to go to her. Want to pull her out of that car and hold her and tell her I'm sorry I missed the fitting. Sorry I missed so many things. Sorry I'm standing here with a rifle and thermite grenades between her and things that used to be people. But the transformed are cresting the rise. 500 yards out. Moving at that steady mechanical pace. Go! I tell Veronica. Now. She sees something in my face. Doesn't argue. Drives. Lupita's watching me through the rear window as they pass. I wave. She waves back. Then they're gone, heading north with the other evacuees. Delgado's beside me, shotgun ready. For 100 yards, he says. I raised the rifle. Spent 12 years in border patrol and never fired my weapon in the line of duty. That was supposed to be something to be proud of. The first transformed reaches 300 yards. I aim center mass, no headshots only, and fire. Mississippi fire again. The transformed drops. Behind it, 200 more keep coming. We fire. Reload. Fire. They drop, but more keep coming. We're burning through ammunition and barely making a dent. At 100 yards, Delgado triggers the thermite grenades. White-hot fire erupts across the highway, turning the front runners into ash and screaming. The smell is meat and chemicals and something else entirely, but they walk through the fire. Not all of them burn fast enough. Some make it through, still walking, skin blackened and sloughing off, those black eyes fixed on us. 50 yards. Delgado's out of shotgun shells. I'm down to my last magazine. We're not going to stop them. We slowed them down, burned maybe 50, but there's still 150 coming and we're out of time and ammunition and options. My watch says 17:09. 6 minutes until Protocol Alpha. We need to fall back, Delgado says. Get to the vehicles, outrun them. They'll follow us north. Catch the evacuees. I eject my empty magazine, load the last one. We hold here. Mason, we can't. The sound of engines. Big engines. I turn and see them coming from the north. Military vehicles, at least 20 of them, bristling with weapons. They form a perimeter around us, soldiers deploying with rifles and heavy machine guns. An officer approaches, full combat gear, face mask, speaking through a radio system. Officer Ruiz, Sergeant Delgado, fall back to the transport vehicle. You're both contaminated. You'll be taken to quarantine facility. The civilians, I start, are being processed at checkpoint 73. Anyone who made it past mile marker 40 is clear of the burn radius. He gestures at the approaching transformed. We'll handle the rest. The machine guns open up. The transformed drop in waves, that precision military fire cutting them apart with efficiency we never had. They're not going to reach the highway. They're not going to reach anyone. Protocol Alpha initiates at 17:15. We're loaded into a transport vehicle, not restrained, but monitored. Delgado and I sit across from each other while soldiers in hazmat suits watch us. Through the small window, I see the horizon light up. Not red like sunset, white like sun. The incendiaries hit and everything burns. Site 7, Crater Wells, 40 miles of desert, all turning to glass and ash. They take us to a facility I don't recognize. Underground, sterile, more soldiers. We're separated. I don't see Delgado again. I'm in quarantine for 6 days. They test my blood every 4 hours. Check my vitals. Ask questions I don't answer because I signed something that said, if I talk about what happened, they'll charge me with violating national security. On day 7, someone in a suit tells me my blood works clean. No prion, no infection, no trace of contamination. Delgado's clean too. We're lucky. We're free to go. They give me my truck back. Detailed so thoroughly it smells like chemicals instead of desert. My phone's been wiped. They give me a new one with my old number but none of my photos. Lupita's contact is there but her picture's gone. All my pictures are gone. I drive back to Ajo. The town's still there. Everyone who evacuated came back after 3 days, told it was a false alarm, some kind of miscommunication about a chemical spill that never materialized. People complain about government overreach, about military exercises gone wrong, about incompetence. Nobody mentions the word burn, or contamination, or Protocol Alpha. Veronica won't let me see Lupita. Says I scared them. Says I made them flee their home with no explanation. Says whatever's wrong with me, I need to fix it before I'm allowed around our daughter. I try to explain, but the words are classified. Everything that matters is classified. I still work Border Patrol. Sector 7, same stretch of Route 85. I drive past mile marker 23 every day and see the highway where we made our stand. There's no evidence. No burn marks, no thermite residue, no blood. They cleaned it all. At mile marker 38 where the convoy crashed, there's nothing. No wreckage, no gouges in the shoulder, no trace that 3 Humvees ever left the road. Just desert, just creosote and cholla and rocks baking under that same Arizona sun. I stopped at mile marker 47 3 days ago, where I was parked when the convoy passed me that first time. Sat there for 2 hours watching the highway and thinking about all the decisions I made that day. Every choice that led me from watching dust storms to loading thermite grenades to saving 800 people by watching 40 miles burn. My radio works fine now. Dispatch is clear. Cell signal is strong. Everything's normal. Lupita had her quinceañera last month. Veronica didn't tell me about it until after. Said she didn't want me showing up and scaring the guests with whatever PTSD thing I'm going through. Lupita looked beautiful in the photos she posted to Instagram. The dress from Delia's boutique fit perfectly. She smiled in every picture. I commented, "You look beautiful, Mija. I'm proud of you." She hasn't responded. 3 weeks now. Delgado calls sometimes. We don't talk about Site 7 or Drive Ortega or what we saw in that cold storage room. We talk about nothing. Weather, sports, his niece's graduation, my daughter who won't return my texts. Sometimes we sit on the phone in silence for long minutes and then one of us says, "Okay," and we hang up. It's enough. It has to be enough. I dream about the transformed every night. Not nightmares, worse. In the dreams, they're still walking southeast toward Route 85, and I'm standing at mile marker 23 watching them come, and I'm checking my watch and it says 1,714 hours. 1 minute until Protocol Alpha. 1 minute until 800 people burn because I couldn't stop the transformed fast enough. In the dreams, I always run out of ammunition at 1714:59. Always. And I watch the first transformed reach the highway, reach the evacuating cars, reach Veronica's Corolla where Lupita's watching me through the rear window. I watch her mouth form the word, "Daddy?" And then I watch something that used to be human touch her window with blackened fingers. I wake up then. Every time. Check my phone to prove she's still alive, still posting to Instagram, still existing somewhere I'm not allowed to be because I broke too many promises and saved her life and she'll never know why. The official report says 3 federal security personnel died in a vehicle accident during a dust storm on May 17th. Weather-related. Tragic. The bodies were recovered and buried with honors. There's no mention of Sergeant Luis Delgado or Officer Rachel Bishop or Dr. Imani Ortega. They're all alive according to records. They're all somewhere doing something classified that I'm not cleared to know about. There's no mention of 8 detainees or 43 research staff or 200 transformed walking through the desert toward a highway full of civilians. According to the government, none of it happened. I requested transfer to a different sector. Request denied. They want me here, on this stretch of highway, watching the same miles where it all went wrong. Some kind of test maybe, or punishment, or both. Route 85 at mile marker 47. That's where I am right now. Same spot I was parked that day. It's 1:23 p.m. Same time the convoy passed me. The dust storms rolling in from the west again. Happens every few weeks this time of year, and my radio's crackling the same way it did before. Dispatch calls. Sector 7, this is dispatch, copy? I grab the handset, and my hands are steady but my voice isn't. Copy, dispatch. Ruiz here. Mason, we've got a federal convoy passing through your sector. Military transport. 3 vehicles. They're not stopping for checkpoint, just rolling through on priority clearance. My stomach goes cold. What's the cargo? Static. Then, detainee transfer. That's all they told us. You see them, you let them pass. Don't engage. I'm writing it down in my log with hands that want to shake. The pen gouges the paper. Understood. The radio goes quiet. I sit there watching the dust cloud approach from the north, and I'm thinking about Dr. Ortega's tablet that I handed over to those soldiers. The one with all the research about the prion and the transmission vectors and the reanimation process. How she said CDC needed to know what they were dealing with. I'm thinking about how they took us to quarantine and tested us and declared us clean and sent us home like nothing happened. I'm thinking about how Site 7 is gone now, burned to glass, but there was a Site 12 listed on that manifest. A destination. And if there's a Site 12, there's probably others. Site 1 through 11. Site 13 and beyond. All of them doing research on things that shouldn't exist, transporting corpses that won't stay dead, creating vaccine platforms that turn people into walking nightmares. The convoy appears through the dust. 3 Humvees. Same configuration as before. Same mesh screens over the passenger compartments. Same young drivers with 1,000-yard stares. They pass me at 1:31 p.m., heading south, and I see the second Humvee's windshield. No crack this time, but there's movement in the back, visible through the mesh. Bodies. How many, I can't tell. I reach for my radio to call it in. My hand stops halfway, because what would I say? Dispatch. I think this convoy is transporting reanimated corpses infected with an extinction-level pathogen that the government is actively covering up. They'd have me in psychiatric evaluation before the words were done leaving my mouth. The convoy disappears into the dust storm heading south. I write down the time, 1:31 p.m., and watch my hand write it and think about how this is exactly what happened last time. Exactly the same sequence. Like it's a cycle. Like they're still moving these things around, still transporting them between facilities, still risking another containment breach. My phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. Stop asking questions. Stop trying to see your daughter. Stop calling Delgado. Forget what you saw or we'll help you forget permanently. I delete the text, but they've sent it before. 7 times now. Always from different numbers. Always the same message. Always that same implicit threat wrapped in bureaucratic language. I could drive south. Follow the convoy. See if they make it to their destination or if something goes wrong again. See if I need to make another stand on another highway with another rifle and another set of thermite grenades. But Lupita posted a new photo this morning. She's smiling with her friends at school. Caption says, "Junior year gonna hit different," and she looks happy. Looks safe. Looks like a normal 15-year-old girl whose biggest concerns are homework and boys and what dress to wear to homecoming. She doesn't know I saved her life. She doesn't know what walks through the desert at night, what the government transports in mesh screen Humvees, what happens when containment fails and Protocol Alpha is the only solution they have left. She doesn't know her father checks her Instagram 17 times a day to confirm she's still alive. Still human. Still my daughter and not something wearing her face with black eyes and wet breathing. The dust storm's getting worse. Visibility dropping. I should head back to the station, file my report, go home to my empty apartment where the photos are missing and the silence is too loud. Instead, I sit here at mile marker 47, watching the highway south, waiting to see if this convoy makes it or if somewhere between here and Site 12 something goes wrong again. Waiting to see if I get another chance to stand between 800 people and extinction. Waiting to see if this time the math works out differently. My watch says 1:47 p.m. Same time I saw the smoke last time. Same time I made the choice to investigate instead of heading north to Ajo, to Lupita's fitting, to all the promises I'd made and broken. The radio crackles. Just static. But I'm listening anyway. Listening for that panicked voice. That word, containment breach. That sound that might be screaming or wind or something else entirely. I'm listening for the moment when I have to choose again between 800 lives and millions. Between my daughter's existence and her humanity. Between the people I can name and the extinction I can only imagine. The dust swallows the highway south. My radio crackles. My phone shows no signal. Everything's the same as it was that day. Everything except me. I know now what I couldn't admit then. That Dr. Ortega was right. That some things can't be fixed, only contained. That sometimes the only way to save the many is to burn the few. That the people making these decisions aren't monsters. They're just playing a game where every move costs lives and the only winning condition is fewer dead than the alternative. I know that my daughter's alive because 800 people fled north while I stood on a highway and fired my last magazine into things that used to be human. I know she's safe because 40 miles of desert turned to glass and took Site 7 and all its secrets and all its dead but not dead with it. I know that somewhere between Site 1 and Site 12 and however many others exist, they're still doing the research. Still creating things that violate every law of nature. Still transporting corpses that won't stay dead. Still preparing for the next containment breach and the next Protocol Alpha and the next 40-mile radius that needs to burn. And I know that when it happens again, not if, when, I'll make the same choice. I'll load the rifle. I'll set the thermite. I'll stand between my daughter and the things in the desert, and I'll fire until my ammunition runs out or the transformed stop coming or Protocol Alpha turns everything to ash. That's what I learned at mile marker 23. That's what they can't erase with clean trucks and wiped phones and threats from unknown numbers. Some choices don't get unmade. Some knowledge doesn't get forgotten. Some scars don't heal. The radio crackles again. Still just static. The convoy's probably miles south by now, making its way to Site 12, carrying whatever cargo they're transporting in those mesh-screened compartments. Maybe they'll make it. Maybe this time containment holds. Maybe this time nobody has to burn. I start my truck and pull onto Route 85, heading south, following the convoy's dust trail. Because maybe isn't good enough anymore. Because I need to know if they make it. Because if they don't, someone needs to be there. Someone who knows what to do when the transforms start walking and the civilians start running, and the only math that matters is how many you can save versus how many you have to let die. Lupita won't forgive me for missing another promise. Veronica will use this as more evidence that I'm unstable, that I'm not safe around our daughter. Dispatch will write me up for abandoning my post. The unknown numbers will send more threats. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is the dust cloud ahead of me, the convoy I'm following, and the choice I'll have to make if I see smoke rising into that brown Arizona sky. Mile marker 46, 45, 44. The dust storm's thick now, visibility down to 50 feet. Same as before. Everything's the same as before, except this time I know what I'm driving toward. This time I know that the smoke at mile marker 38 means I've got 76 minutes before Protocol Alpha. 76 minutes to save everyone I can. 76 minutes to make the same choice with the same rifle and the same mathematics that never work out the way you need them to. This time I know that thermite burns at 4,000 degrees and you need to space the grenades 12 feet apart for maximum coverage. That headshots only anything else and they keep coming. That you can't save everyone but you can save enough. That Protocol Alpha doesn't care if you're guilty or innocent, exposed or clean, military or civilian. It just burns everything in the radius and sorts out the math later. This time I know that my daughter will grow up without me, post photos I'll never be tagged in, have a life I'll watch from the outside through Instagram, and unanswered texts and promises broken so completely they can't even be called promises anymore. This time I know, and I keep driving south anyway, because someone has to.